Hello and welcome to PSGMA Radio. I am your host, Reverend Jesse Black, and thank you for tuning in. Before we get started today, I want to just give some save the date information. We're having a concert/workshop at Concord Fellowship Baptist Church. It's called Harmony Through the Generations. It'll be February 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. The workshops will include Jubilee workshops, traditional choir workshops, as well as youth workshops. Once again, that's February 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. Hope to see you there. Also, the Youth Alliance Refocused Development will be giving out assisting with free haircuts on February 10th at Forest Heights Elementary School and February 21st at Watkins Nance Elementary Schools. This is just a way for my nonprofit to give back to our community, helping out the youth and let them see that there's other different types of vocations out there that they can be interested in. Once again, that's February 10th over at Forest Heights Elementary and also February 21st at Watkins Nance Elementary School. And as I bring my guest on, she's a good friend of mine, now also the boss. Madeline Smith is the new director for Homeworks of America, and I just want to introduce her and then bring her on. And we're going to talk about, one, the mission of Homeworks, but two, as she embarks on this new position, how and what else will she bring to the neighborhood and community. And once again, I just want to introduce Madeline Smith. Hi, Madeline.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Now, me and Madeline have actually known each other for quite a few years because she was the part of Homeworks before, but she was with the community coordinator, but now she's the boss, the executive director of Homeworks. So as you step into those shoes, what do you see as far as the mission of Homeworks? Where is Homeworks going now?
Yeah, thank you for having me again. And I just was very much surprised by this opportunity in the fall after being at Homeworks for 6 years on the operations, like you said, operations, volunteer, community coordination side. And I've loved getting to see it very first and foremost before I ever worked there as a volunteer. Really grew to have a heart for the mission, taking youth kids, because I used to be a youth director, taking them to serve and do home repairs. And so we do charitable home repairs for people who cannot afford to. Otherwise, it's income and home ownership based. And so a lot of people are 65 and older, unable to physically do those repairs. And getting to volunteer first was such a cool way to get involved. And then, just getting entrusted with this role and kind of voted in by the board in the fall has been really challenging, humbling, you name it. We could keep going. How much time you got? Empowering, and really most of all, just opening up a huge door for me to surrender a lot to the Lord, but knowing that we have such rich opportunity to help a lot of people. Our need has grown a lot. I mean, you've seen it. Post-COVID, we saw a lot of people in their homes more, and they saw those things that were wrong with them, and they were living among, lots of them unlivable conditions every single day, and just ever more aware of those. And so then also as a lot of people got sick, it was hard to care for those homes. And so I think we have a uniquely, our mission hasn't really changed, like the heart of what we do, showing God's love through home repairs, using volunteers, that has not changed. But I think we have a really unique opportunity lately that I've seen grow to pour into the younger generation who's learning these trades and learning how to serve, and who might not have had opportunities to during COVID. A lot of high school and college students who also don't have a lot of perspective of how a lot of people are having to live right now, just growing them in that. And so I feel very challenged right now in my role in a lot of ways because, you don't know what you don't know. So It's a growing opportunity, but I feel super supported. A lot of people are on board with this, kind of teaching the younger generation and helping them pour into the homeowners, because we laugh. A lot of our homeowners have been walking with Jesus a lot longer than all of us have. Right. So a lot of our mission now is pouring into the young volunteers who are working. So,
now, one of the main thrust of Homeworks is the volunteer. They come from far and wide, all over not just the state of South Carolina. They come from other countries. They come from other parts of this country. But what I noticed is also being an executive board member with Homeworks, what I've noticed is a heart for ministry. You, Joe, and the others have a heart for ministry. So when you were a volunteer coordinator and you were going out to tell people about volunteering, what was your draw to get them in?
Yeah, a lot of it has changed, honestly, our narrative after some years where we lost a lot of students. But mainly what I would tell them is this is a huge opportunity to really tangibly show God's love. I mean, there's so many ways to pour into people just by words, obviously through prayer, lots of things. But like something about the gift of really hard manual work is so gratifying. And, it's not just about satisfying ourselves a little pat on the back, but that's certainly part of it for groups. You love to feel accomplished and see that before and after. But I would always appeal a lot to the opportunity to just really get nitty gritty with like serving the Lord very, very tangibly hands-on. And a lot of these skills are things that maybe the volunteers don't come already knowing, but we hope to teach them. So a lot of that too was me continuing, and we always do this. We say, you just need to be willing to learn. Come with an open hand. Because I mean, I don't know that you and I could go out there and re-roof it, but we could probably tell someone verbally how to do it.
Right.
And I maybe know what to order, but that's why we have construction staff. Right. So we love leaning into the giftings of the rest of our wonderful staff. But yeah, I would really appeal, and still do, to volunteer groups that you can really learn a skill. It may not be for you. You may say, I'm going to head out. This was a nice day. But you could catch the bug and do it as a career. But just knowing that it's a really cool hands-on way to serve the Lord and neighbors too.
And say, as a board member, we actually go from site to site, greeting the volunteers, seeing how the work progresses, but more importantly, meeting the homeowner. There's been several homeowners that we sat and we prayed with, we've talked to, and also as I deal with the food banks, there's also a need for food. So we provide that as well. So we're trying to be well-rounded, holistic approach of not only just the roof, but the owner and then the volunteers. And as you said, they catch that bug. I know you've got groups over and over the years that have returned back to do more houses, give more, and do things like that. When we have our banquets, I noticed that the room was kind of full. We need another larger space, I guess, because we're now at capacity when we have our banquets. Now, this year we went to a lunch versus the banquet, and I think we were still pretty much full, to capacity. But when we look at Homeworks, how would you describe to someone who's never did any type of construction, never volunteered, never really looked at somebody else that was in need, what would be one of the main things you would tell them about Homeworks?
I would say that, we are, sometimes if nothing else clicks for people, a lot of people can click with, imagine yourself in someone's shoes if you've lived in your home for however many years and you're aged out of work, you're not able to work, you're maybe receiving income through Social Security, you're limited resources, you're choosing whether to pay for maybe things like medicine and food. You're not really worried about that roof. It's kind of lower on the triage for you. And would you, if a bunch of things went wrong in a storm or something, would you want to leave your home? Or if it was falling down around you, would you want to leave that home? And most people who have been in their communities and neighborhoods for a while, the answer is no. I mean, they want to age in place. And so I always tell people, it's such a gift to get to do pretty relatively inexpensive things. And it's all donated dollars. That's why we can do it. But pretty simple things, a ramp, a new roof, even one or two things that can keep someone in their home for 10 to 15 more years as they live out, the rest of their days sometimes. That's a huge gift. And so if anything, we're preserving existing homes that are pretty well built. They're just kind of falling down and in disrepair. And but the gift of putting on the roof, I mean, obviously we want to do that well, but also the gift of getting to pour into a neighbor who's often pretty lonely. A lot of our homeowners, probably 70% are widowed. Yeah. And so I think that's a really cool opportunity to just We have wonderful construction managers who remind our homeowners when they go out to visit the home, this is another way God's showing his care for you today, just really hands-on. So yeah, a lot of times, we are compassionate construction driven. We want to do quality construction and not have to keep going back.
Right.
But at the same time, it's just as important to pour into that neighbor, to pray with them, to just remind them, even if because we're there for a day, we got to move on. We have a huge waiting list. For that day, we want them to feel so loved and cared for. So
now, what ways could volunteers get in touch with you? Donations come to you. What are the methods that they could get in touch with you with?
Yeah, so we're really active on social media, mostly Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and we're Homeworks of America, kind of clunky, but that's what we've got. But we're that on all social media. But our best way is homeworksofamerica.org. We have a contact form on there, and we can choose where the emails go based on the category. So you can ask about volunteer questions. You can see what we have coming up. Sometimes we'll work with just an individual group who wants to serve, but sometimes we'll have an open sign-up day. Hey, come serve. This is where it is. This is when it is. So we got some week-long summer things too where we do more houses, but that's the best way is that website. Yep.
Okay. So you will be seeing Madeline again because I will be bringing her back as Homeworks gets ready to ramp up for the spring. And please, ma'am, please, sir, reach out to homeworksofamerica.org. Find out, they have videos on there from the before and after pictures of homes we've worked on. There's testimonials there from the actual homeowners. At our banquets, they show a video slide. This particular year, they did something different, and it brought tears to everybody's eyes. They took the phone calls, and you heard the actual voices of the homeowners as they were in need for help, and then after they received the help. And I had to put my sandwich down. I'm like, wow. Most people don't understand what Jesus was saying. He said, when I was hungry, you fed me. When I was naked, you clothed me. When I was in prison, you came to see about me. The disciples were like, well, when have we seen you? Like he said, when you've done it to the least of them. So what Homeworks does is to the least of them, the widows, the widowers, those that have mid-70s, some of them in their 80s, they don't have a whole lot of friends. They don't have a whole lot of people coming to see about them. But when we get there, the first thing we do is we get to know the homeowner. We sit down, we talk with them. There's another prayer group that comes along with us, and they're sitting there watching their homes be restored as their lives are being restored. You would never think that somebody seeing their house painted would bring a person to tears. It did. You would never think that a person is sitting in their living room cooking on a hot plate because the flooring in the kitchen is gone and now it's being replaced. These are the things that I've seen Homework do, and this is why I'm a part of this. I have many hats that I wear, but this one I'm very proud of this one. So I told Madeline, I said, this is not going to be the first nor the last time I bring you back on. So as they ramp up for the summer, they call the blitzes. So they'll have a team just hit a house, and within that weekend, that house is completed. They have larger projects that we deal with, but now that takes a little longer. But we will have a couple of teams hit that home. You've never seen the look on a person's face as their roof is being replaced. The leaks that cause the ceilings to cave in, and then their ceilings got to be replaced, and they got to be repainted, and all these things have to happen. And as Madeline said, they're deciding, do I pay for my food or my medication? So, yes, you hear my heart. Please hear my heart on this. Please get in touch with Madeline, whether you want to volunteer, donate, or volunteer and donate. And if you would give those emails again. Yeah.
Our website is homeworksofamerica.org, and you can go donate directly there or give through Venmo, and all of our social media, Venmo, all of that is Homeworks of America. Homeworks is home space works when we write it out, but yeah, that's the best way. And, construction materials are where pretty much most of our funds go toward because they are expensive, as you know. So, but we really love being able to bless people and say, you will pay nothing for this. So.
Amen. And as before I close, do you have any final words before we end our session today?
Just a big thank you. I mean, you're like MVP board member. Yeah, your presence is so wonderful. So thank you, just first of all. But yeah, just appreciate any and all prayers. There's a lot of brokenness out there, and we just get to help chip away at it through home repairs. Lots of other ways to love people, but we're very fortunate to get to do it through hammers and nails. So
Amen.
Appreciate your part in that too.
Thank you. And once again, Harmony Through the Generations, Concord Fellowship Baptist Church, February 21st, 22nd, 23rd. The haircuts starting at Forest Heights, February 10th. And then we'll be over at Watkins Dance, February 21st. Thank you all for tuning in.